Okay, so today we're going to work on the leaves in the back, these two leaves, and maybe if we have time, the pomegranate, and actually those leaves as well, at the bottom here, because they're the same color, they're green. I have, as usual, a bright, medium size or small size right there, and I'm sure I'm going to be using round. So these two, that's it. I don't think we'll need more than that. Or, this is the same size. All right, this is Sap Green, Cadmium Yellow Light, and White. And usually when we use Sap Green, I like to add a bit of red or a bit of any color that's opposite green on the color wheel, like reds, or even yellow ochre, or any kind of color that will tone down the Sap Green, because Sap Green from the tube is a bit artificial. It's not toned down, but in this case, we're working on red, so Sap Green will be fine. Let's see, is there a lot of so see how dark it is? It's on red, and it changes color also because it's on an opposite color. It's the red. So we can start with the dark, just Sap Green, nothing else. I know I put some yellow in it. Don't put yellow. There's no need. Just Sap Green. We're going to highlight this in a minute. We're going to work one leaf at a time. Switching to round. And now I'm going to start adding yellow, cadmium yellow light. And I'm just going to kind of follow what I see on the reference. I'm highlighting slowly. This is a strong highlight. I'm going to tone it down a bit with Sap Green. I really don't like to jump to a very strong highlight right away. I can't control the highlight if it's too strong. try to not, I'm going to try not to lose the shadow underneath. But if I lose it, that's okay. I can put it back. All right. I lost the line where the dark is, so I'm going to put it back with just sap green. Okay, a little bit of yellow. And honestly, it doesn't really have to be exactly the same. You know, we don't do that usually. We don't just copy it exactly the same. We try to kind of make it look similar, you know, kind of make it look interesting, but not really kind of go for copying it exactly the same. Okay. Now I have kind of two tones. I have dark and I have a medium, and I need to add a highlight one, like a strong highlight now. So I'm going to go to the medium a bit and add it here. And now let's bring in some medium tone, because otherwise it looks too dark. And now I'm going to take a little bit of white, put it in. There's this really strong light coming from here, from this side, left, hitting the leaf. It's all about values, light and dark. And I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to go back after and adjust the values. Because you know acrylic dries different. When it dries a bit darker. Okay. I'm adding a little bit of white at this point with the green, and the green, same green. The more highlight I put here, the darker this is looking. So I might have to go back eventually and just kind of tone down this dark, strong dark in here, because it looks like it's disconnected from the rest of the leaf. I'm just adding a medium in here, medium tone. We're gonna let it dry. I'll come back to this. Okay, let's work on this one here again. Sap Green. We don't need to go too dark in here. We can go medium. So I'm going to take yellow, add it to Sap Green on this one here. Yeah, that's good. I like how the red, the green sits on top of this red. It's beautiful. Priming the canvas in red is really nice. Should do another project like this with red background. I'm highlighting a little bit with yellow. I'm trying to dab a bit of that highlight with the corner of my brush. Sap Green, round brush. And I'm just going to put a bit of darks in here. Highlights where, shadows. Again, a little bit of darks. Okay. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to take yellow, put it in the green, try to highlight this part. Slowly, and I'll add more highlights. Slowly again. I don't know. Again, some more. There's a kind of a strong highlight right there. Yellow and the red and the green. I'm going to simplify it a bit. There's a lot of detail in there. We don't need to put all of that. But it's not a straight kind of leaf, so it has a bit of bumps in it. So I'm trying slowly to add tiny bit of texture in there. I'm going to add white in the green and yellow. So I have green and yellow, I'm adding white. And of course, once I add the white and the green and yellow, I'm going to see that the dark green looks darker than it should, than it is. So I'm going to have to go back and do a little bit of adjustment of values in here. More white. and yellow. It's drying darker. It's drying really dark. I'm putting white and I'm putting yellow in, and it's drying darker, but that's okay. Just this kind of shiny part, I like to keep it showing. All of this looks funny right now, but once we start working on the pomegranate, it will look better. Oh darn, this is not easy. I hope the pomegranate is going to be easier to paint.
Texture will be interesting.
What, the pomegranate texture?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like to paint architectural detail. It's easier. But you know why? Now I don't know why I'm thinking about blue. Ultramarine blue. Do you know why there's another one called French ultramarine blue? And there's ultramarine blue? Okay. French ultramarine blue was invented in the 1800s by a chemist called Jean-Baptiste Guimet. To replace the ultramarine blue that was used before, because ultramarine blue is a mineral that comes from lapis lazuli, and it's semi-precious stone. So, you you know that Michelangelo refused to use it, not because he didn't want to use it. It's just because it was actually more expensive than gold.
Oh, wow.
Vermeer was gonna go bankrupt because he loved ultramarine blue. It was used only, and it was used long time ago by the in Egypt, long time ago, for the, you know, Cleopatra, the blue in the blue that they used to paint at that time, because it doesn't fade. It will stay there like for 600 years. But
the girl with the pearl earring.
Yes, it was done. Yes, the blue
was done with
ultramarine blue.
Oh,
Yeah, it was done with ultramarine blue.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So Jean-Baptiste Guimet, there was a concours. What's a concours in English?
Contest.
Contest in English, and in London and in France as well. And I can't remember, 1870 or before. And he won, and it took him actually 10 years to come up with the right combination to get to yeah, because it was before, you know, it was used only for the to paint the Virgin Mary clothes, the blue. That was only used for that because it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Wow. But when he invented that, when he came up with the chemical combination, he won the contest, and I think he won 6,000 francs at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, and also it's not just because it's lapis lazuli. It's a semi-precious stone. It comes from that. It's just the process to extract the colored blue is long and it's costly, because when they get I don't know if you've seen a lapis lazuli when it comes out of the earth. It has kind of a yellow gold in it as well. It's not only blue. So it takes a long process to separate the blue from the gold and to make it pure. So yeah. Yeah, and it used to, you know, ultramarine. Ultra means beyond. Marine means the sea in Latin. So the reason it was called ultramarine, because they used to get it from Afghanistan all the way to Italy.
Wow.
And they used to use actually the Silk Road to take it there. It's fascinating, the history of of colors.
Yeah,
it's really,
it is actually.
Yeah.
And so what I noticed when you're buying cadmium, and you think it's very expensive.
Cadmium?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another one.
All the cadmium red, yellows.
It's a concentrated kind of pigment. It's a strong pigment, but it also has to do with the chemical that they use, because the cadmiums are chemicals. They're not. So, and that's another one that's very interesting as well. You know, the cadmiums.
Is it toxic?
Yes.
There were some painters that
it's toxic if it's inhaled.
Okay.
I'm doing a little bit of research on colors.
Oh, I think it's so interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a bit more research. I like it.
I appreciate you sharing it with us too.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, I will next time. There are a lot, quinacridins and cadmiums, and very interesting. Because if you understand color, it's easier to use it. You know how to use it because you understand the component and what's it's made of and what's in it.
Yeah.
So when you mix it with another color, you know what's going to happen, what you're going to get, because you know that these are the pigments in that color, in that paint, in that specific color that you're trying to mix. So you'll know, it's better not to use cool colors with that, because it's going to get muddy, or there's, brown in here. There's, it's good to know these things. I'm going a bit darker in certain areas here, and you know what? I'm not going to work on it anymore. It's too much right now. I've added too much detail. All right, I'm going to leave it. Leave it alone for now. Okay, so we managed to do these 2 leaves tonight, and next week we'll continue on the leaves. Probably start with the pomegranate for next week.